Oh man, pulled up, stun man, everything waved. Whip half 100 jeans, cost 5 days. I can tell she want it cause he act.
So running backs, either you're balanced, your power, or you're a scat. Scat is where you're a third down back. Um, you come in for third down, you go out for passes. You're not as good in the hole. You're just not as big, not as tall. Um, and then you have your power backs, which basically coming downhill in the hole, and then you have your balance type guys that can do both. Obviously you would like to have a balanced guy over you know a power guy or a scat guy, but at the same time, with how the NFL is now, it's a lot of um, a lot of three-headed monsters or two-headed monsters where one guy's a power guy and one guy's a scat type guy, or you've got three guys and most of them may be balanced and you have a scat guy or whatever. So a lot of different ways, and it really depends on what a team's looking for at the running back. But just going through my top running backs, I got 50 on my list. So my top guy, obviously, Shaquan Barkley, definitely the best prospect of a running back in a long time. Very balanced, has the ability to catch the ball, and definitely can run in the hole. He's a guy I really like. He's definitely the number one by far. And once you get past number one, it's really jumbled for about the next 6 or 7 guys. I got Kerryon Johnson as my second guy. Really impressed with him. Really like how he hits the hole. He's my number 2. Nick Chubb. He's on my first power back on my list. Barkley and Johnson to me are balanced guys. They can go out and catch passes. Chubb is a power guy to me, and he's third on my list. I think Chubb is going to be really good at the NFL level. Ronald Jones, a balanced guy. I like Ronald Jones a lot. Just a stud of a player. Sonny Michel. Sonny Michel, really climbed up people's draft boards against the OU and the Georgia game, and I guess kind of for me too, he did that. But I like him. He's just kind of overshadowed by Nick Chubb. John Kelly, maybe a little bit of a surprise. John Kelly's a guy I really like. I think he was leading Tennessee for most of the year in receiving and rushing yards, so he can do both. Darius Geis was a guy that I was higher on earlier in the year, and he's kind of gone down my list because of injury, and not as in these other guys had more impressive years, and he kind of just moved down my list because of it. But he could very well be number 2 or number 3 on this list. He's a guy I was higher on earlier than I was. Josh Adams from Notre Dame. I consider him as a power back, but he could be balanced. He's a guy to me that looked like he was dealing with injuries all year. Had tough, tough on his knees and stuff. We'll see what kind of career he can have, if he can withstand it. Bo Scarborough. I just don't trust Alabama running backs. This is a guy that probably would have been my top power back, but I just don't trust Alabama running backs. They have such a good offensive line. They're really hard to gauge. But to me, he's a top 10 guy. Just his physically, the way he looks and stuff like that, he has to be pretty high. Nyheim Hines out of NC State. This is a guy that I had. These other 10 guys or 9 guys before him are guys that I definitely had heard of and definitely knew were going to be some good backs. But this is a guy that really came out of nowhere. Really good speed. I look at him as being a balanced guy, but he could definitely he could end up being a scat type player. Cameron Petway, he got hurt about halfway through the year. By the time that people start paying attention, he was probably hurt by then. And he's a guy that he's got probably some of the best weight and size of any of these other guys, but injuries, as a big guy, it may be an issue. As a big guy, usually can take hits and stuff, and we don't know if he can or not. Rashard Penny could really be higher on this list. I consider him a power guy. He could be balanced though, because he did do kick returns. He probably can go out and catch passes. Akram Wadley, I have at 13 out of Iowa. I got him as balanced, and he's a guy that. I kind of have high on this, the way that Iowa's offensive line is. So he may be lower, or he may fall a little bit, but I like Akram widely. Mark Walton. Mark Walton was a junior, and he was hurt for most of the year, but he's got good balance, the ability to catch balls, the ability to run into holes. I think Mark Walton will be a really good player at the NFL level. I don't have him higher on my list than these other guys. I got Philip Lindsay at 15, maybe a little high, but Philip Lindsay is one of my favorite backs. He rushed for tons of yards at Colorado this year. Had a couple of 200-yard games. Probably their most consistent offensive player throughout the year, and he's only 5'8". He can go out and catch passes. He's my top scat back in the draft. I like him a lot. He's just really small at 5'8". Royce Freeman, power guy. He was hurt during his time at Oregon from time to time, but I think could be a really good player. Chris Warren. Chris Warren decided to go ahead and come out. He said he was going to transfer, but he's going to come out. This kid has great size. He's a power back. I really like Chris Warren. Justin Crawford. I got Justin Crawford as a balanced guy. Very durable. I don't really remember him ever missing any games, and he's kind of a smaller guy. Justin Jackson's a guy that you could really fall in love with. But the fact that he played all 4 years at Northwestern, he just kind of seems like an older guy at this point. And, when you're looking at drafting guys, and if guys don't really just stick out at you, I don't see, you going real high for Justin Jackson. Chase Edmonds, first FCS guy on my list. Pretty impressive out of him. He's from Fordham. I didn't really get to see a whole lot of games, just a little bit of film that I found online, but doesn't seem like a bad player, but a hard guy to grade because the competition that he's playing against. Ito Smith, another scat back. I really like this kid too. He has really good speed, and I think he's going to be a good player. D'Angelo Brewer, another scat back that I like. From Tulsa, Dalen Dawkins, Brian Dawkins, I think it's his nephew. This kid just runs really hard. I like him. Corey Avery from Sam Houston, another scat back type. This is a guy that probably is really not on anybody's list. He's on 24 on mine. I like him a lot. Martez Carter, another scat guy. All these guys right here, guys that just really run hard, and I know it's weird. I kind of have a bunch of scat guys in a row, but these are guys that I really like. Lavon Coleman, power back, very overshadowed guy because Myles Gaskin at Washington, but good film to go watch would be the championship game last year, or not last year, but 2 years ago when Washington played somebody in the Pac-12 championship. He had a phenomenal game. And, I know we can't go off of one game, but he's a guy that I always kind of was paying attention to him, and I knew, and he's kind of a bigger guy. I think he could be good. Javarion Franklin from Western Michigan. This guy, kind of an unheard of guy, but he's a big power back. I like him. Kyle Hicks kind of fell down my board. I like Kyle Hicks earlier in the year because of his ability to run and also go out and catch pass, but he's kind of considered a scat guy at this point. Rock Thomas, a guy that plays at Jacksonville State, but he is transferred from Auburn. I like him. I got him at 29. D'Ernest Johnson, great size. He's a pretty tall guy, pretty good size. He looks like a beast, and I got him at 30. Darrell Williams. This is a guy that kind of came in when Darius Geis was out, and he was just as good. Well, I can't say just as good, but he had some really good games. He's who I got at 31. Jordan Chunn at 32, good power back. He had a really good game against LSU. That'd be good tape to watch of him. Well, I don't know if it'd be good tape to watch because then you'll really like him, but that's just a game I remember against a big time opponent. He went to Troy, so you don't really have that much of a gauge, but he had a really good game against LSU, which is usually a really good defense. Ray Lowry out of Old Dominion, power back at my 33 spot. Ralph Webb, balance out of Vanderbilt. Xavier Johnson, scat back out of South Alabama. Trenton Cannon, really hard to gauge this kid because it looked like he was playing with a bunch of little kids. Like one of those mascots are playing against the kids. D2 guy, didn't really seem like he had a lot of competition, but his team wasn't very good. He's a guy I'm kind of watching, keeping an eye on. Trenton Cannon out of Virginia State. Colby McRae, this kid is absolutely got some of the best weight out of this draft. He's a power back. Kobe McRae, he played 1 year at Minnesota after he transferred in from there. Jordan Wilkins, power back type. He could be balanced. Really impressed. It was a bad Ole Miss team, and he was a guy that kept coming up on film when I'd watch Ole Miss. Kalen Ballage, to me, this kid is kind of a waste of space. I don't know. I just can't really. I don't know. I just don't. I totally see, like, if you're going down a list and you're looking at guys' attributes, and like one of your big things is like how, like, this kid's 6'3", he's got great size. Like he definitely is like ready for the NFL level. I don't know why. I just don't see him. Like, I would have thought he would have made more of an impact in his time at Arizona State than he did. He just, to me, he didn't have enough like quality games to like move him up lists like some guys are. Detrez Newsome out of Western Carolina. I like this kid. I got him as a scat. He's a smaller guy. Osharma Abercrombie. I like this kid. I watched this kid multiple times for the last 2 years. Big power back. I like him. Terry Swanson. I think Terry Swanson is going to definitely get a look and get a little help because of the way that Kareem Hunt turned out. I think Terry Swanson could be good. Ish Witter from Missouri, scat back type. I really like his speed. Larry Rose, scat back type. I really like his speed, his ability to catch the ball out the backfield. Dontrell Hillard, he's a power back out of Tulane. Nick Wilson, kind of hard to grade Nick Wilson. He was injured a lot. But good bounce back. This guy could be one of the better backs in this draft if he can stay healthy. I got him at 46 though. Keith Ford, real fast. He could be a really good scat back though. Lance Turner from Alcorn State, balance type, got nice long dreads. I like this kid. Alex Gardner, scat type, and then Jeffrey Wilson. Alex Gardner's from Florida Atlantic, and Jeffrey Wilson is from North Texas. And like I said, it's just kind of what is your team looking for? Are they looking for a scat back? Are they looking for a power back? Are they looking for just a balanced guy? Is really where you go with that. So we'll see what happens with that. But definitely my top guys are Shaquan, it's a top, but it's like Shaquan's the top guy, and it's just a toss-up after that. It could be, like I said, I got Kerryon Johnson, Nick Chubb, Ronald Jones, Sonny Michel, John Kelly, and Darius Guice. But those top seven backs are scary. Bo Scarborough, Rashard Penny, Nyheim Hines, Josh Adams, Mark Walton, Justin Crawford. Just those are some guys that just have really, I haven't been impressed with the last couple of years, but for sure those top seven that I mentioned at first are guys that I really like for the draft this year. And don't sleep on those scat back types. The scat backs are really, changing the league the way that, because you can't really cover them with a linebacker. It kind of makes it hard for the linebackers to cover them. So scat backs to me are one of the more like new era type things. They're kind of like a slot receiver that, and you've seen what the slot receiver's done to the NFL.
She with the campaign. She don't talk about it, she do the damn thing.
Celebrate life, sip champagne. We don't talk about it, we do the damn thing. She say she rockin' with it, she with the campaign.